Man Who Wants a Show About Smelling, or Britain's Got Talent. The audience at Britain's Got Talent had seen singers, dancers, magicians, comedians, even dog acts, but never anything like the quiet, middle-aged man who stepped onto the stage holding nothing but a small notebook and a nervous smile. "My name is Daniel Hensley," he said softly, adjusting his glasses, "and I want to do a show about smelling." The crowd burst into laughter. Even the judges exchanged confused looks. A show about smelling? It sounded ridiculous at first. But Daniel didn't flinch. He wasn't embarrassed. Instead, he stood there with the calmness of a man who had lived 1,000 storms and learned to breathe through each one. "Go on," Simon finally said, skeptical but curious, and Daniel began. He didn't dance. He didn't sing. He didn't juggle or crack jokes. Instead, he told a story. "My wife, Mia," he said, glancing at the notebook in his hands, "lost her sense of smell 3 years ago after a severe illness. Doctors said it might never return." The laughter in the room faded into silence. "I didn't understand how much smell meant to life," he continued. "The smell of morning coffee, rain on warm pavement, fresh bread at the bakery, the scent of a loved one's shirt. We take it all for granted until someone loses it." Daniel explained how Mia fell into depression. She would cook meals but couldn't taste them properly. She would walk through flower gardens, pretending to enjoy the fragrance she could no longer experience. She would hug Daniel but couldn't smell the cologne he wore on their wedding day, the one she once said felt like coming home. "So," Daniel said softly, "I started retraining her memory. Every night I described scents to her, not scientifically, but emotionally." He opened his notebook and read, "Lavender smells like quiet evenings and the softness of forgiveness. Vanilla smells like childhood, warm kitchens, sticky fingers, and safety you didn't know you had. Rain smells like hope, because it means something new is growing." The audience listened in complete stillness, and sometimes, Daniel added, his voice breaking, she would close her eyes and say she could almost smell it again. Not with her nose, but with her heart. He admitted his dream wasn't to perform a comedy act or a strange talent. His goal was something more human. "I want to create a show that reminds people of all the little gifts in life," he said. "A show about smelling, because it's really a show about remembering what matters." A quiet sniffle rose from the audience. But then Daniel did something unexpected. He pulled out a small wooden box. "This," he said, "is Mia's memory box. Inside are scents I describe to her every night. Lavender, vanilla, pinewood, lemon. And this," he held up a folded handkerchief, "is the handkerchief I wore the night she first told me she loved me." He stepped closer to the judge's table. "I brought it today because—" He paused, breath trembling. "Mia regained her sense of smell last month. Slowly, faintly. But it's coming back. And when she finally smelled this handkerchief again, she cried like a child. She said it smelled like finding pieces of herself she thought were lost forever." The audience gasped. Some wiped their eyes. The story everyone thought would be silly had become a lesson in love, patience, and human connection. Daniel continued, "I'm not here for fame or fortune. I'm here to tell people, don't take small miracles for granted. Don't wait until they're gone. Appreciate them now." Then he looked straight into the camera, as if speaking to every viewer at home. "Hug the people you love. Notice the smell of your home. Remember the scent of your child's hair after a bath. Life is made of tiny moments, not grand ones." He stepped back. "That's my talent. I help people feel what they've forgotten." For a moment, no one moved. Then the audience stood, all of them, a roaring standing ovation that shook the theater like thunder. Even Simon, who rarely showed emotion, blinked rapidly and cleared his throat. "That," he said, "was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard on this stage." Alicia wiped tears from her cheeks. Amanda covered her mouth. Bruno pressed his hand to his heart. Before Daniel could say another word, the golden buzzer slammed down. Golden confetti exploded from the ceiling, raining over him like blessings from the universe. His eyes widened, his hands shaking in disbelief. Not because he won, but because his message had been heard. In that moment, Somewhere backstage, Mia watched her husband glow under the lights. She pressed Daniel's old handkerchief to her face and whispered, "I can smell it. I really can." Daniel lifted the wooden box toward the ceiling, toward the memory of every simple moment people forget to appreciate. And he smiled, because the show wasn't about smelling. It was about love, about gratitude, about the small, invisible miracles that make life worth living. And everyone in that theater walked away different, more aware, more grateful, more human. A reminder that even the faintest scent can carry the strongest memories and the deepest love.